Most people think Mary Queen of Scots was a romantic victim, beheaded because her cousin Elizabeth was simply jealous. But the real story is much darker and messier. Mary spent 19 years imprisoned in England, and far from being an innocent prisoner, she was actively plotting to overthrow Queen Elizabeth. Her fate was sealed on February 8, 1587, at Fotheringhay Castle. The truth is, Mary was not just a victim. By the end of her 19-year captivity, she had become deeply involved in plots to claim Elizabeth's throne, making her execution a matter of national security. Mary became Queen of Scotland when she was only 6 days old. She grew up in France and briefly married the French king. Upon returning to Scotland, her life quickly descended into chaos. She married Lord Darnley, who was murdered, and then married the man widely blamed for the crime. The Scottish lords revolted, forcing her to abdicate her throne. Mary fled to England, seeking protection from her cousin, Queen Elizabeth. Instead, Elizabeth viewed her as a threat and placed her under house arrest for many years. Mary's situation was complicated by religion and politics, laying the groundwork for her eventual treason. Mary was Catholic, while Elizabeth was Protestant. Many Catholics in England and Europe viewed Mary as the legitimate queen, constantly fueling plots to depose Elizabeth. Over the years, Mary allowed herself to be drawn into multiple conspiracies aimed at overthrowing Queen Elizabeth and seizing the English crown. The final major conspiracy was the Babington Plot in 1586. This was the one that provided the solid evidence Elizabeth's spymasters needed. Elizabeth's spymaster, Francis Walsingham, expertly intercepted Mary's coded correspondence, gathering crucial proof of her involvement. Mary's letters clearly showed that she was aware of the plot's plan, which included the assassination of Queen Elizabeth and placing Mary on the English throne. With the overwhelming evidence in hand, the stage was set for Mary's final judgment. Mary was put on trial for treason, despite her defense that, as an anointed foreign queen, she couldn't be judged by English law. The court found her guilty. Elizabeth was hesitant to execute another queen and a family member. But facing immense pressure from her advisors, she finally signed the death warrant on February 1, 1587. Mary was informed of her execution the night before. She spent her final hours writing, praying, and preparing for her death. Mary walked into the Great Hall calmly, dressed in black. She carried a crucifix and prayer book. When her outer clothes were removed, she revealed an underskirt of red, the symbolic color of a Catholic martyr. She knelt and prayed in Latin. However, the execution was gruesome. The first axe blow missed her neck, and a second was needed. It took a third, clean blow to finally sever her head. When the executioner held up her head, her auburn wig came off, revealing short, gray hair. Her lips continued moving for a moment, and her small dog, covered in her blood, was discovered hiding beneath her skirt. Mary's execution was not simply a result of jealousy. It was the brutal culmination of religion, political rivalry, fear, and years of relentless plotting. Elizabeth was furious that the warrant had been dispatched so quickly. Meanwhile, Mary's son James wisely stayed silent. He eventually inherited the English throne, fulfilling what his mother had died trying to achieve.